Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, business warriors. It's Monday, and if you're listening to this right now, it means you made it through something. Maybe it was a tough client who pushed every boundary you set. Maybe it was a slow month where you had to dig deep just to make payroll. Or maybe it was a season that tested everything you thought you knew about running your business. But here's my question for you today. Just because you survived, does that mean you're actually safer now? Or are you just one bad decision away from the same crisis happening all over again? Today's lesson comes from Brother Grimm's fairy tale about a straw, a coal, and a bean. And I know what you're thinking. Anna, what does a fairy tale have to do with my business? Trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll see yourself in this story and you'll know exactly what to do differently this week. So welcome to Monday Morning Motivation, which is part of our Small Business Survival Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and every Monday we use a story, sometimes a fable, sometimes case study, sometimes just a moment from real life to uncover practical lessons for small business owners who are building under pressure with real risk and real responsibility. Today's story is short. It is very strange, and honestly, the first time I heard it, I thought it was kind of pointless. But then I started really paying attention. And I realized this story has everything to do with how we survive crisis, how we recover from near disasters, and whether we actually learn anything from them or just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So let me tell you the story first, then we'll break it down together. And here's how it goes. There is an old woman cooking beans over an open fire. And by accident, the way most disasters start, three things escape. One bean rolls off the counter and falls onto the floor. A straw slips away from the fire, and a burning coal jumps out of the flames. All three of them were about to be destroyed. But they got lucky. They escaped. So they meet up and they start talking. And they realize, we were lucky. We got out. But if we stay here, something bad could happen again. Let's leave together and start fresh somewhere else. Smart, right? They're thinking ahead. They're avoiding future risk. So the three of them travel together. And pretty soon, they come to a stream. There is no bridge, no easy way across. The straw speaks up and says, I'll lie across the water so you two can walk over me. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The coal, who is fast, confident, maybe a little impatient, doesn't hesitate. She runs onto the straw. But halfway across, the straw catches fire. It breaks apart, and both the straw and the coal fall into the water and are destroyed. They're gone. Just like that. Now, the bean stayed behind. She didn't rush. She waited. She watched. And instead of learning from what just happened, she laughed. She laughed so hard at the other's failure that she split herself wide open and would have died too if a kind tailor hadn't come along and sewn her back together with black thread. And that black seam, the story says, that's why beans have that dark line down the middle. Okay, so here's the part most people miss. The bean didn't die because she was slow. She almost died because she thought survival meant safety. She watched the others fail and she assumed that won't happen to me. I'm smarter. I didn't make their mistakes. But she didn't do anything differently. She didn't ask herself, what could I learn from this? What do I need to change? She just laughed it off. And that almost killed her. In business terms, the bean represents the small business owner who survives a crisis, avoids a risky move, doesn't rush into things, but then laughs it off, doesn't reflect, doesn't change anything about how they operate. They survive, but only because they got lucky or because someone helped them out of the last second. And they carry a scar as permanent reminder of what almost went wrong. Here's what I want you to hear. Survival alone is not the win. Learning from it is the win. Adaptation is the win. Building systems so you don't have to rely on luck next time, that's the win. And if all you do is survive without changing anything, you're just setting yourself up to need rescuing again. So let's break this down into real business terms because I know some of you are thinking, okay, Anna, cute story, but what does this actually mean to me as a small business owner? Well, we will say that the straw equals overextending yourself. This is the business owner who becomes the bridge for everyone else. You are saying yes to everything. Every client request, every discount, every favor, every quick question. You're holding everything together. You're the one and the only one who knows how things work. And you're doing it all because you think if you stop, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth. You will break first. The straw burned because it was never meant to carry that much weight, and neither are you. And the coal equals speed without strategy. This is the business owner who moves fast without thinking it through, rushing into expansion before the foundation is solid, or taking big risks without a backup plan, or chasing opportunities because they sound exciting, not because they fit the business. Confidence is great. Speed can be an advantage, but confidence without structure, that's just recklessness in a nice outfit. The coal burned out because she didn't pause long enough to ask, is this actually safe? Or am I just impatient? And the bean equals surviving without reflecting. And this is the most dangerous one. This is the business owner who survives a close call and says, we got lucky. Let's just move on. It worked last time. It will work again. But they don't ask, why did that almost fail? What warning signs did I ignore? What do I need to change so this doesn't happen again? That's how small problems keep coming back. Different month, different crisis. The bean laughed. She thought she was fine, but she wasn't. She was one moment away from disaster and only survived because someone else stepped in to save her. Don't let that be your business model. All right, let's make this practical. Here are 3 things I want you to do this week. Not someday, not when things come down, but this week. Action step number 1. I want you to name the fire you escaped. Think back over the last year and almost took your business down. Maybe it was a client who didn't pay, a product launch that flopped, a partnership that went sideways, or a cash flow crisis that kept you up at night. I want you to write it down and then ask yourself, what did I actually learn from that? Not just survive. What did I learn? Because if you don't name the lesson, you're going to repeat the danger. I've seen this happen over and over again. Action step number 2, I want you to stop being the bridge. Where are you over functioning right now? Where are you holding everything together yourself? Being the only person who knows how to do something. Saying yes when you should be building a system instead. This week, I want you to identify one area where you can replace yourself as the bridge. Maybe it's a process you document so someone else can handle it. Or maybe it's a boundary you set with a client or a task you delegate or automate. You don't have to fix everything. Just pick one thing, because every bridge you stop being is one less thing that can burn you out. And action step number 3, respect the scar. That black seam on the beam, that's not weakness. That is experience. Your business has scars too. And those scars are proof that you survived something hard and came out the other way, the other side. So don't hide them. Use them. Price better because you learned what undercharging costs you. Set clearer expectations because you learn what happens when you don't. And build smarter systems because you know what breaks when you wing it. Your scar is proof you survived. But more importantly, it's proof you adapted. And that's the difference between a business that barely makes it and a business that actually thrives. Here's your Monday reminder, and I want you to really hear it. Survival isn't the finish line. It's the invitation to do better. Don't rush like the coal. Don't burn out like the straw. And please, please don't laugh it off like the bean. I want you to learn. I want you to adjust and build smarter. Because you didn't just survive for the sake of surviving. You survived so you could build something stronger, something more sustainable, something that doesn't require luck or last-minute rescues. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and this has been Monday Morning Motivation on the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. You survived for a reason. Now make it count. I will see you next Monday.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.